Hey everyone, bringing to you today Blast from the Past. We bought this machine used around 1996, somewhere in there, 95. I was just a boy, not too old. I think it had 150 hours on it when we bought it. Hesston 8200 windrower. Got a 14-foot auger header on it. Single sickle. Most of these Hestons, the 8400 series, were twin sickle, which is what most people went to because of all the problems they had with this single sickle model. In fact, most people got away from these altogether and don't see a lot of them anymore, and I could be wrong on that, but most of the ones you see of this vintage are 8400s. Just a lot of people just did not stick with this single sickle style. So over that amount of time, this machine every year cut somewhere around probably 1,400 acres of either hayfield or just feed grounds. Very rough country. Not what most people would call a field, probably what most people would call a pasture. Is where this thing went. And talk about rough, really rough riding with the small back wheels. Would just really beat you to death. But overall, for a red machine, held up better than you'd expect. There are some war wounds on it here. I mean, like I say, all the glass has fallen out of it. The glue, which was a problem on these, the glue was all defective and the glass would get loose. So there were some brackets made when I was just a kid to hold the glass all in, and some more unconventional ways of doing things, but it worked. Come around to the back. Look at this gem. It's a 4BT Cummins, about 80 horsepower, and these windrowers came with about 3 different engines. They came with that 4BT, which was more of the oddball. A lot of them came with a Fiat engine and then a Chrysler engine. The Fiat was a complete disaster. If you are looking at one of these and it has a Fiat, run away. Do not buy it. They, as far as I know, anything with a Fiat engine is probably in a junkyard or been crushed and sent over to China or something by now. I don't know. I don't think the Chryslers were as bad, but they were pretty gutless. This is a good engine. Uses about 2 gallons an hour in fuel, which is really good. All belt driven. Belt driven to the hydrostatic pump, which drives the wheels, and then belt driven up to more belts, which runs the header. You know, there's a lot of moving parts on these, and it requires a lot of maintenance. There's a lot of bearings, and I honestly would tell you most of the repair budget per year went into this machine for haying purposes. Not really because it, you know, had more parts or anything. It's just, it always had something wrong with it. I mean, if you didn't do everything just right, like these belts, if this belt is not exactly tight, it'll burn the belt, and it'll eat a pulley. If your pulleys are getting marginal, you better be putting pulleys on it, or tensioners. These chains, better make sure they're tight. And every couple hundred acres, you better get out and retension them again, because the chains are a little undersized. The conditioner rollers, probably the biggest nightmare on this machine. They were always out of balance. If you hit something with them, you could knock them out of balance. They're not really offered anymore. If you can find one, expect to pay $1,800, somewhere in there, per roller. And the vibration that comes with those rollers is what has really taken its toll on this header. I've built reinforcing plates around this. It knocks bearings out, and just generally has just been vibrated to death. I mean, this is as good as it's been in the last 15 years is where I have it today. It's fairly decent as far as vibration goes now. Just a lot of moving parts. And let's go into the sickle. here's a new set of guards. And these are not Hesston guards. These are an aftermarket, but they're a German aftermarket. And they are a good guard. And there's some New Holland guards that also will fit this model. So here's the hold down. The local dealer told me nobody buys these anymore. These are $25 a piece. And this machine has, oh my goodness, what's it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's got somewhere around 15, 16 hold downs on it. And this is doubled up because if you don't double them up, the sickle will not cut grass very well. And so for a set of guards, expect to pay around $400 to $500 for good guards. A sickle, I mean, if you want to put good sections in them, you're going to spend, I would guess, around $750 to get this thing in good operating condition. Just in the sickle, just in the cutting portion. This drive belt will only get you so far. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and that's part of the reason why we wanted out of it as far as a primary cutting machine. And you're probably asking yourself, so you got this mower, why are you fixing this? And I kind of needed to be in two places at once, and I've got some grass to cut down on a river area where there are, beaver stumps and sticks and just general nasty stuff that if I hit with this, I'm not going to be that mad. And if I hit that with that mower, I mean, let's just think of that mower as an open-wheeled Indy car. It's fast, it's powerful, it can do anything, but it's not something you want to take down a logging road. And that's kind of what I'm asking it to do. I mean, I kind of need the hay, and otherwise it would be fine with me to let it go, but taking this thing down into some ugly spots where a trail mower isn't as favorable, that's why. So otherwise, I don't know why I would keep this except for that purpose. And it's a good backup. I could still take this out and cut barley with it, and it would do it just fine. Being a sickle with these skid shoes, I can get the header up off the ground for cutting grain a little better, possibly. So I mean, it's not garbage. It's in all honesty, what it's been through has pretty much been a 20-30 year war, and it's held up remarkably well considering. And there's an instrument cluster here. 371 hours on the clock. So this is what I grew up cutting hay with, and it's done us a good job, and now it kind of deserves to go into part-time mode here. And so that's what it's doing. So maybe I get this all put together, get the new sickle built, and we'll take it out and you can watch it in action. So just thought I'd share that with you. This machine, it's definitely paid for itself over the years. Sometimes you run into equipment that you just can't get rid of because it does such a good job. Well, I wouldn't say this is, maybe that's a bad description. Sometimes you find equipment that you can tolerate to repair on a yearly basis. You know it, and you know what it will do and what it won't do and what it will cost you. And that's what this machine is. So that's it for now. And thanks for watching, and we'll pick this up when we get her out there in the field and get some grass cut.